New from Russell Dickerson, that's a Blue Tacoma, Kicks 105.5. A great day to you. On the line is my good friend, Mike Barrett. Good morning, Mike.
If I'm your good friend, why were you just so mean to me when I
You
called?
know what? Don't play stupid with me. Oh, you're not playing. Oh, okay. Because that's how friends treat each other when they get stood up. So, did you know that you were going to North Carolina?
Yeah, and actually told you a couple times.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know I have dementia, right?
You don't listen to me. You don't buy me flowers anymore.
You and my wife can both. Okay, so here are some of my things that I've been thinking about lately.
Okay.
How is bundling cheaper with more things that are covered?
So bundling is cheaper. It's an incentive by the companies that really make it worthwhile to buy more than one line of business through them. So if you have an auto and then you get a home, they're going to give you discounts on both for having both with the same company. It's just a very simple practice that's been around for a long time.
Well, it's just odd. Like if you went to the grocery store, the more groceries you get, the cheaper the bill does not get. It's just an unusual thought.
Yeah, it is. But it's just the way it's worked. Some companies call it bundling. Some companies call it packaging. Some companies don't call it anything. It's just an account credit that you get on both lines of business, auto and home, if you get them with the same company. Just a nice way to incentivize, or I can't even say the word, but give you an opportunity to have more than one line. It's a good thing.
The reason that I bring this up is that I recently did renter's insurance through you and bundled it, or whatever you want to call it. Packaged it.
Well, you're with Progressive, so you would definitely be bundling because that's what they call it.
All right. And on there it said that there are certain dogs that I cannot have.
Correct.
And is that because of these dogs being destructive? Because it seemed like the list of dogs was extensive, like minus a Chihuahua, everything else was on there.
The most common list of dogs are the dogs that are statistically the ones that cause loss. So, being a dog lover, it's not a fun thing for me to have to tell somebody there are certain types of dogs they can't have. But when statistically the data's there that these types of breeds are more likely to cause harm, and it's not that they're causing damage to your goods, because that's going to be an exclusion on the policy. So if your dog damages your home or damages your personal belongings, that's yours. You own the dog. But if the dog is out and bites somebody that's not a household member, that's a liability exposure for the insurance companies.
Okay, so
there was a statistic that I read that they paid $8 million, I think, last year for dog injuries.
Let's say I have like an Akita. Okay, I have an Akita, but I want renter's insurance. But I have to sign something. But I have to sign something saying I'm not going to own that dog if I have renter's insurance through you, or can I just exclude my dog and anything that he may do from that renter's insurance part of my policy?
So most companies will hold the line and say, look, we just cannot insure you if you have that specific breed.
Okay.
But if there are companies out there, and actually I ran across this, it's a different thing but the same, somebody who had a trampoline, and the company said, look, you can have that trampoline, but you're going to sign this piece of paper here that says if somebody gets injured on that trampoline, we're not paying for it.
Right.
And that's a scary proposition. Remember, I like to use the word self-insure.
Yes.
And that's something that you do not want to do, because when you are self-insuring, you are saying, look, I will take responsibility for this. So if somebody becomes paralyzed for life on the trampoline or gets mauled beyond recognition by the dog, and I hate to say that, but it does happen.
It does happen.
That means their bodily injury is out of your pocketbook, not the insurance companies. And that's why they have a voice, because otherwise it's their checkbook, and they don't want to cover that. Let's
move on from dogs to like skunks and bears. I had a lot of experience lately with skunks and bears. If a bear decides to tear my garage apart to get to the trash inside, or I have skunks that are ripping stuff apart, trying to get to inside my home or something, is that covered under most insurance policies?
That's a very interesting question, and actually a very personal question, because my father, who lives a half a mile from me, shared pictures recently of about 4 or 5 screens at his house that were totally mauled and destroyed. And he said he had heard something at around 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was a bear trying to get into his house. Being on the road this morning, I got to tell you, I can't answer this as well as I would like to, but I will tell you this. there are exclusions for certain nuisance and rodent-type animals like mice and things like that. And I actually would think that a skunk or even a porcupine might fall into that as well. But otherwise, there could be some coverage on your policy, subject to your policy deductible for the other animals like a bear and things like that. I'm fairly confident that that would be covered if it's met deductible.
Well, I'd like to talk more about bears when you're back home. Enjoy your time in North Carolina. What are you there for?
For business. It's all business, Sean. There's absolutely no pleasure down here at all whatsoever. No.
North Carolina Visitors Association was like, thank you for that plug.
No, this is the same place that we came last year. We're on Outer Banks, North Carolina, and looking at the ocean. And
I love it down there.
It's beautiful. So we're on a family vacation. I'm a little crazy because it's me and my wife, my son, and all of my wife's family.
Oh.
So I'm not well represented. I'm actually the minority. And I just say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
We
Yes,
can
sir.
do that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm the chauffeur.
Be well, my friend. I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Will you be here next Wednesday?
Isn't next Wednesday the 4th of July?
Oh, for frick's sake. Unlike you, I work every day. My birthday, which you missed last week.
Wait, hold on. I like to back up a little bit. And somebody told me not to do the interview last Wednesday because he wouldn't be in.
Oh, my goodness. It was nice talking to you. That's Mike Barrett from Barrett Insurance Agency. You can call him or leave a message, and he'll get back to you shortly by buzzing up.
748-5224. Visit our website, thebarrettagency.com. We're on Google, Facebook, and YouTube as Barrett Insurance Agency.
I say good day, sir.
Good day, sir.